Hey guys, my name is Dan and this is Stout Gaming. This week we are doing something a little different. We are commentating a GLDL max between Goomy and Toxic. Goomy insta-locked his team. I didn't even really see what he clicked because I was doing the intro. But it looks pretty standard out of Toxic. A lot of the things I expect him to bring. He doesn't really have much of a Trick Room mode, but the Slow Bro might be there to try and scare off Goomies. Goomy does have his Trick Room mode and Tailwind mode. I sort of like the dual speed thing his team's got going on. The Rosalie Berry on, or is that the Haban Berry? I don't know the pictures of the berries very well. On the Drampa is going to be pretty good into a lot of what Toxic can bring. But I guess we're just going to go ahead and dive into this battle. I don't know how it's going to turn out, so let's go ahead and see. So I know the Cinderace set that Toxic has, and it is going to be a bit of an issue for Goomy, although this setup is going to be really good for him because the Cinderace isn't carrying a fighting type move, so it's not going to hit the Kangaskhan super hard. The Sock will hit the Kangaskhan, but this Raichu has the ability to cripple the Cinderace on a couple of different fronts, which is going to end up being fairly annoying, I would imagine. So let's go ahead and see what happens here. You should never max this Cinderace in front of a Raichu if you don't have a way for you and your partner opponent to both outspeed it and guarantee a KO. But I'm fairly certain he doesn't have that. Also, I apologize about the frame rate. Since this is someone else's match, it's not my recording, obviously. So, recording software, always a little hit or miss with some of this live stuff. If this is Focus Sash Raichu, this is going to go really poorly for Toxic, because he should be hitting into this Raichu, and if it survives, which it will, it can just start absolutely crippling the Cinderace, which is going to be an issue for him long term. Nuzzle slowing it down. So that looked like Scarf coaching, which I like, and now everything is slow. It doesn't matter how bulky the Cinderace is going to get. It's going to get charmed. It'll only be attacking at neutral, and it'll be slow. And Goomy's going to have a max in the bag. So if I'm Goomy, I'm feeling pretty happy in this game at this point. I definitely see some ways for Toxic to get out of it, but that max was a little bit suspicious if he didn't also attack with the Sock into the Raichu because of what we're seeing right here. Like, yeah, the Sock can get off another coaching, but it'll just bring the Cinderace back to neutral, and then he can just attack around it. Like, is he going to waste a max attack to do 1 damage? It doesn't matter, he's paralyzed. So he can just charm it again, and the Cinderace is effectively completely neutered for this entire game. I don't like that Toxic is keeping everything in here. The Sock's just going to go down. The Cinderace is going to do limited damage here. Like, it can kill the Raichu, yeah, but it's not going to kill the Kangaskhan from there, even with Life Orb. And Goomy has successfully stalled the max, crippled the Cinderace. Yeah, Tornadus can come out and set Tailwind, but it's paralyzed and -1, so the Raichu still outspeeds it. So he needs to kill the Raichu with the Tornadus, probably. Because if he doesn't, this Nuzzle is going to be super annoying. Icy Wind is going to be frustrating as well. Like, I don't think this Cinderace is fast enough to stop this. Sucker Punch can do it. Yep, Sucker Punch is good. Good play if he goes into the Raichu. But this Cinderace is still not going to be doing anything remotely effective this game. If this Tornadus is Defiant, there could be an issue there, but it's not. So that's Prankster Torn. And I sort of like the setup here. He's going to be able to set Tailwind, and then late game just get in the pre-marina and win. Like, it seems very straightforward. I don't know if I like this max here that he's thinking about. I know you're not necessarily wanting to max this pre-marina, assuming it's the Liquid Voice set, but max pre-marina just picking up 3 KOs in a row if you're able to set Tailwind with this Aerodactyl just seems like the easiest win in the world. But max Aerodactyl, I don't know, there's the chance something could go wrong here. So I probably would have waited for the max pre-marina, but I mean, if you get the paralysis, yeah, Icy Wind's going to come out, and there is going to be some opportunity late game for Toxic here. Because, yeah, you're going to Airstream the Cinderace, but, like, I don't know. It just doesn't feel nearly as good as if you were able to get the pre-marina in. Especially because that Cinderace, while you've crippled its attack, it's still +2 defense. Like, you just ignore it and you kill the Tornadus. Sucker Punch, nice play. Would have been better if it got the KO, but there's it. So, Goomy should still be in pretty comfortable position this game, but I think he had a more guaranteed win with slightly better play. Like, yeah, he still got a 3v1 with one more turn of max on an Aerodactyl that's going to be faster than anything Toxic can send out, but I think there was a way for Toxic to have potentially punished that play if he was able to, say, get 2 Icy Winds off and get this Regidrago in. I guess Regidrago against Primarine is not really going to do anything, so it was probably safe for him, but there were things in the back that Toxic could have had that would have made that play more problematic. I'm not sure if I'm in love with this play either. Like, I understand you want to give the Primarina some speed, but if this Regidrago's running something and he calls that switch, I don't know exactly what he could be running, but there could have been something there that made that Primarina switch less than ideal, especially with Tailwind running out. I mean, it worked out for him, but that just felt a little more aggressive than it needed to be. Because, like, what's the difference between getting the Primarina out now and next turn? Like, yeah, you don't want the Kangaskhan to faint, I guess, for differential, but Mon differential's not a super high tiebreaker in this league, so I probably would have made the safer play and just let the Kangaskhan go down to a double edge. But I understand the play that he made. But that was a pretty clean game 1 for him, and I will swing right back around with game 2. So, looking at game 2, if I'm coming up with a game plan for both of them, the Primarina seems really good for Goomy, although knowing Toxic's plan, man, he locks in really fast. Man, both of them locked in really fast. So, what I was going to say is, I know this Cinderace is set, and if he leads Cinderace into this, it's going to look really good for him, especially if he doesn't max it. Like, you just take the hit there. Yeah, so the Cinderace is going to have Gunk Shot. It's going to use Gunk Shot this turn. It's going to take out this Primarina. Like, you don't max it, you save your max for something else, and you just absolutely ruin this kid's day. Nuzzle on the Cinderace is probably correct, but I don't know, this Raichu's not going to be faster than the Cinderace if the Cinderace is EV'd correctly. And then we know that the Sock is Scarf. So he could double into the Raichu and it not be a mistake. He could take out this Premier and it not be a mistake. But you don't necessarily expect Gunk Shot Cinderace, which is probably why you make this lead, but this feels like it's favorable for Toxic if he doesn't max. If he does max and he wastes his max as well, okay, good. This was a solid play. You don't want to waste your max because you know this Raichu's going to cripple the Cinderace. But you use the Gunk Shot, become a Poison type. Yeah. Okay. So it doesn't matter what happens to this Cinderace now. Premier had a bad day. And we are suddenly in a very interesting match here. Like, yes, it gets paralyzed, but it did its job. It doesn't need to max. He can max something else. And now, with what Goomy's brought, he sort of needs to get Trick Room up. And I might even consider maxing the Cinderace here if I'm Toxic, because if he Charms, gets the Cinderace to neutral with a Dark Berry, with a Dark type attack, Max Darkness, you think you've got the chance to take out this Runerigus. I believe it's Colbur Berry Runerigus, so it won't have that opportunity, but we'll see what he goes for here. Maybe he's believing he can stall out the Trick Room. We'll take it back down to neutral. Man, these para-hacks are really rough for him. That's why you put Raichu on your team, though, because Raichu is super solid into a lot of these hyper-offense teams. I know in another league where I'm running a pretty offensive team with Tornadus, Raichu matchup was one that I was very nervous about, and I probably over-prepped for Raichu in that matchup. So, I don't know. This one's tricky. You can try and stall out this Trick Room because this Raichu probably doesn't like being in Trick Room. But that could work. Like, the Cinderace is at +3 defense, and it's slow because it's under Trick Room. Like, it's a little scary at this point. He probably needs to get in Drampa somehow. Like, the hard switch is risky. Charm is going to be too slow now. It's at +1 attack. Like, Toxic is playing this very stubbornly, but fairly well for how stubborn as he's playing. See, that Drampa switch was very good. So we're back down to neutral, or we're at -1, and now we're going to go to neutral because it is scarfed into coaching. If this Drampa goes down, this Cinderace probably doesn't die. I don't know if Draco Meteoring the Sock is correct. Did he just double into the Sock? I don't like that at all. You know the Sock is choice locked. You know it's choice locked, and this Cinderace is going to be able to do some pretty decent damage. Is that not sturdy Sock? Interesting. Oh. Man, that's rough. He gets bailed out by the para-hacks. I still don't like the way Goomy played that. It worked out for him because of the paralysis, but I do not like the way he played that. Goomy is very confident with his moves. He locks them much faster than I do when I play. That's very interesting to note. Here, you definitely just protect the Tornadus if you have it. And maybe you attack with the Cinderace? That one's a bit less clear. But overall, I think Toxic's going to be able to stall out this Trick Room. And then if he has something in the back that does something against it, like, yeah. Ooh, okay. So he's prepping for the Trick Room to be over. I actually kind of really like that, because if this Cinderace goes down here, if he's got Regidrago in the back, I think he just wins. Because Trick Room should end. And if that Tornadus didn't have Protect, that's probably correct. Yeah, if this is Regidrago, Toxic just wins. Okay. He was able to stall at the Trick Room, played his endgame effectively, and now I don't know what you can do here, because it's faster than the Raichu now, or it definitely should be. Nuzzle isn't going to be able to give you the Parahax slow attack way out. This is just a 3-0 reverse sweep for Regidrago, right? Like, there's no way it's not. You probably don't put in the Runerigus here, but okay. What you do is you let the Raichu go down this turn, and you have to hope for a double Protect on the Drampa, and then you hope that the Runerigus survives one Dragon Energy and is able to get up Trick Room. I don't think I like this max. Like, I think you just click Dragon Energy there, because there's nothing on his team that takes it. If this goes into the Drampa, okay. So he didn't throw, but he tried to. Did he throw? Let's see. If that was going into the Drampa, that would have been a throw, but that's not quite a throw yet. I don't know. If you do it into the Raichu, that's fine. But if he crits a Draco Meteor, I don't know if a crit Draco Meteor takes out a Regidrago, and that's maxed, but you know, I kind of want to find out. Going into the Raichu is probably correct there, although I think there's a world where you go into the Drampa to prevent this. Okay, crit. Oh, is this Drampa already at -2? I don't remember if he Draco Meteored earlier, but so I don't think a crit would have done it, but that had to have been at -2 already. So the Haban comes out. I don't think it matters. I still think a crit Draco Meteor would do it. But I still really don't like that max. But we'll be back for a decisive game 3 between these two. Alright, so we are looking at game 3 here. Goomy is taking about 2 seconds longer than normal to lock his team, but the absolute confidence on this lad. Setting Trick Room, turn 1, looks like a decent strategy. Much better into the Cinderace Sock lead. But if he does lead the Tornadus and it has Taunt, suddenly you're looking less good. Or if he leads like just Tailwind next to Regidrago, this is looking considerably less good. So there are leads that Toxic has to punish this, but if I'm Toxic, I'm not thinking that he's going to lead hard Trick Room here. What do I think he leads if I'm Toxic? Probably something like Raichu Aerodactyl would be what I assume the lead is, but This is a tricky call. This is a tricky call. Also, shout out to both of them for their power poses in the cards. As much as I don't like those goggles, they work for the power pose. Okay. So I mean, if I'm Toxic, I probably coaching and max darkness, but it's really tricky. This is a tough call at both ends. Like, you know he's going for Trick Room and probably Nuzzle into Cinderace. With what you have, yeah, like Max Darkness makes sense because you haven't seen that it's Colberberry yet. And I don't know if this was just a call trying to see if it's Colberberry or Mental Herb, and you don't know, so you're going to go for the assumption that it's Mental Herb because he doesn't want to deal with Priority Taunt. But there's a world where this goes very poorly. Okay, I really like that play. Waste the Colberberry early. I don't think there's a world where you get punished for that. Like, this should just take it out now. Yeah, that was an excellent play. That split the difference between them. Like, very, very solid play by Toxic. Like, you understand this Cinderace could have some issues, but also, you can just switch out the Cinderace, bring it back in late game, and you have effectively dealt with Trick Room. And because of that, he doesn't want Drampa in. Like, does he just Max Primarine in your face now? Yeah, probably. And this Cinderace is going to get nuzzled. So, like, you 100% switch this Cinderace out now. Do you switch the Sock out as well? You consider a double switch out here. Depending on what you have in the back. But, you know, something's going to get Starfalled, so if you've got Regidrago in the back, you don't want to switch that into a Primarina. That was a very good turn 1 for him, but it's not over. He doesn't switch anything out. I'm not sure I like that so much. Because Max Primarina, I don't know. You can break the Focus Sash on the Raichu with the Throat Chop. Okay, I can get behind a turn of Max Guard and use that as basically a free switch out for the Sock. But I kind of like the Sock as a late game option to use coaching to guarantee the KO with a Gunk Shot onto a Max Primarina. Although if you can stall out Max, you don't need it, but you do need to switch out the Cinderace next turn. Like, it just doesn't want to be in front of what it's in front of right now. And you've got to stall one more turn of Max to get it really to work. I don't know what you have in the back that can do this. If you brought your Slowbro, this is the time to bring it out. What does this do? Just... I don't think you set Tailwind with the Tornadus here. I think you switch out the Cinderace and you try and use the Tornadus to kill the Raichu. At least that's what I do in this situation. You let something else eat the Nuzzle, and then you try to... Yeah, you let something else eat the Nuzzle. Whatever's in the back, eat the Nuzzle. It's not as important to us, the Cinderace in the late game. And then you try to kill the Raichu. I don't know what attack you have, but if you've got, like, a Heat Wave or something, you use it. I don't like that at all. You want this thing late game full health. Okay. Again, that's splitting the difference. I like that slightly more. I'm still not a huge fan. Oh, but it does have Sludge Bomb, so that's kind of nice. But it's going to go down this turn, and now your Cinderace is locked into the Maxus. Like, the Hail's going to take it out. Okay. So this is all really tricky. I don't remember off the top of my head the item on the Drago, but you've put yourself in a situation where you have to hope a -2 Cinderace is enough to take out this Primarina. Like, you can't wait a turn here. You've just... I mean, you could wait a turn here. Because if he doesn't kill the Cinderace... He's got to kill the Cinderace this turn. Okay. Okay, I like that. Then you get the Gunk Shot off. Yep, that was correct. And then you've got to hope that this kills through... do I Draco meet? I think I Dragon Energy there, not Draco, but they both probably do similar damage. But through Haban, yeah, that's gonna be rough. Okay. So your play here is basically hope both moves hit, because if both moves hit and this Drampa doesn't kill, okay, so Toxic should win if both no, wait, Hail takes it out. Hail takes out that Drago. Okay. Toxic is in really rough position here. Oh. You've got to feel for Toxic in this situation. Like, he can take out one of these. You might actually survive a Blizzard, and because you might survive a Blizzard, you don't survive anything from the. I don't know which one of these you prioritize, but you probably prioritize the Primarina because you could survive this Blizzard. At neutral, though, I don't like his options here. Well, you definitely lose now. Yeah, that's just a loss. That doesn't do enough damage. Alright, so very interesting set. Came close there. Questionable decisions by both coaches, but generally some pretty high-level plays. Toxic made the right read a couple times when he could have lost the game, but he ended up losing in the end, and I'm not sure if his play had anything to do with it on those last few turns. But thank you guys for tuning in and watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.